What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're gonna be talking about the Bill Russell grind in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. Now, obviously, the Elgin Baylor grind, you would be a fool to grind this for a very mediocre Elgin Baylor, unless you just really wanted Elgin Baylor. You should not grind this because it's worth the grind in Elgin Baylor, okay? And last week for Andre Iguodala, we saw literally the exact same grind that we're seeing for Bill Russell today. And I was hoping, and you guys might be like, Ty, what? You stood up for this. Okay. I was hoping for a guy like Bill Russell, who Bill Russell is not any better than this card right here, we'd see something smaller and show something a little bit shorter. And that's my opinion on things. For a guy like Bill Russell, who you can basically buy for 30,000 MT, I was hoping the grind would be something more manageable, because I'm fine if, they rotate, right? A guy like Iggy is really good and still a top 3 shooting guard in the game, I'd say. If he's this type of a grind, I'm okay with that. But a guy like Bill Russell should probably be a 3 or 4 hour grind. I mean, that is my opinion on things. Now, for me specifically, am I gonna grind for Bill Russell? Well, not specifically. But I'm not against it. And why? Because I personally want this centerpiece for every single mode. So that means I gotta play clutch time offline. That means I've gotta play triple threat offline. That means I've gotta play MyTEAM Unlimited, triple threat online, stuff like that. But if you're not going for all of the trophy centerpieces, this grind is ridiculous. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I get what they're doing in these agendas, and I personally don't mind it, but it's not for everybody, okay? And if it's not for you, just go get the pink diamond Ben Wallace if you do want Bill Russell. It's pretty simple. And even in packs, guys, I would much rather you guys go get this amethyst Robert Horry, who I personally think is really good, rather than spending time worrying about these agendas. I mean, yes, I get it. If you play the game a lot, like I do, this is not going to be that tough of a challenge. It's not going to be that difficult of a challenge. It's actually a challenge, an agenda challenge, that I might grind out. But even if I get Bill Russell, it's not worth the grind, right? Because Unlimited, I'm going to play 15 Unlimited games. Clutch Time Online, I might play 25 Clutch Time Online games. So it really just comes down to the offline modes and if I'm willing to grind that. And I just don't know. The one thing I do like is the fact that you do get trophies along the way. I do think that's kind of understated and undervalued. But I'm with a lot of the people in the community that's like, okay, give us this long grind, but within this, give it a short grind. So let's say, instead of giving 2 moments trophies, maybe for winning 15 unlimited games or winning 35 triple threat offline games, maybe they give us like an amethyst. I don't know, amethyst. I'm just gonna throw out a name. Maybe they give us like an amethyst Bam Adebayo, somebody like that, So you do get rewarded for the shorter grinds as you do go through it. I wish you got XP as well. That's another thing that is kind of a letdown, but it's definitely something that I thought 2K might adjust, just because the community has been complaining quite a bit. But instead of adjusting, they're giving us overall worse cards. Like Bill Russell basically is Ben Wallace. Overall worse cards that just, aren't quite as valuable for their specific time. And the grinds are basically the same. Now, do I think Bill Russell is better than Ben Wallace? I think it's really close. I do think Bill Russell is extra inch. He's 6'10", whereas Ben Wallace is 6'9". That's going to help him out. And so look, if you guys do grind out Bill Russell, you're probably looking, I'm just gonna throw some out there. You're probably looking at a top 5 or so center right now in my team. Now, with all of that being said, does that make him worth grinding when Ben Wallace is 23,000 MT? It's just really hard to make that debate. It's really hard to make that case. Now, I like the grinds. I'm personally not against the grinds. I'm just saying if you're trying to debate, that he is that much better, it's just kind of tough to do so. So I don't know. This is one of the first problems. I don't have a problem with the grind. It's just what these 2 grinds I just don't think are worth it. And that's where I have a problem with it. It's like Andre Iguodala, I personally thought was worth it. Donovan Mitchell, I personally thought was worth it. The problem I have is when it's like, okay, we got Bill Russell, we've got Elgin Baylor. Both of those cards, in my personal opinion, I don't think are worth it. And so that's kind of the where I run into the problem in my team. For a card like Bill Russell, this should be, like I said, a 3, 4, maximum 5 hour grind. You know, maybe cut these in half. 20 clutch time offline games, 20 triple threat offline games, 15 triple threat online games, 15 clutch time online games, and 5 unlimited games. Something like that. Something where, I mean, even if, you know, Tuesdays is hard, make one of these an easy grind. I'm okay with that. I don't mind the grinds. I really don't. But if it's a grind for a guy like Bill Russell, who I just think is very mediocre, who you can buy for like 20,000 MT, I just ultimately am not grinding it and ultimately don't think it's worth the grind. So that's the only thing I kind of would say about it is, yes, the grind is the exact same that we saw last week for Andre Iguodala. I just don't think Bill Russell is worth it. Now, it's important to note you can get, oh, it looks like Elgin Baylor is now in the draft, which that's cool. But you can get Bill Russell in these modes right now. So if you do want Elgin Baylor, I think the best method to go about him without mindlessly grinding is the draft. And the same thing come Tuesday after 10 Central Time in the morning. Bill Russell is going to be on the draft. So if you do want Bill Russell, maybe just wait until then and just grind the draft mode, because these grinds are, again, unless you're going for the centerpiece in every single mode, I just have a hard time seeing Bill Russell ultimately be worth the grind. So another week, another long grind. And again, I'm not, you guys think I'm like all about these grinds. I'm not. I don't mind the grinds though, because once you do complete it, like once I got Iggy done, it was like, wow, I accomplished something, until Michael Jordan literally came the next day. So I get where you guys are upset about these grinds. That it totally makes sense to me. But to me, it's not necessarily like the end of the world type of thing if you can't get Bill Russell. That's how I look at things and how I approach things. One thing to look at here is this. Look, guys, not only are you getting rewarded for Bill Russell if you play these modes, this, if you can do this, you guys are talking about, Ty, how do I get these legendary moments? How do I get this stuff? That is what you want to look at. Because, look, a lot of people are like, Ty, I accidentally locked in the wrong trophy case. Well, you can get some legendary moments from that right there. And so that is something to think about. If a lot of people have been wondering, Ty, how do I get more of these trophy case players, trophy case packs? There you guys go. There's a couple, there's 3 legendary and 3 elite franchise moments right here that you guys can grind out as well. So to me, is the grind ultimately worth it for Bill Russell? No. But at least you can get rewarded in this stuff along the way. And that's something, like, even on my no money spent account, that is going to be worth it for me to do specifically. So that's kind of the more worth it grind, in my opinion, is this. But obviously, if you do want Bill Russell, you can do those things along the way. That is going to wrap it up for my video talking about how to get the Diamond Bill Russell. For once, guys, I think it's too hard because Bill Russell is just simply not worth it. But like for Elgin Baylor, I don't want Elgin Baylor, so I'm not going to get him. It's fine. If some people want to grind him out, do what they got to do. But he's just not a card for me. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.